Hello Internet, and welcome back to my series of film reviews. We just got done looking at the Indiana Jones movies. Today we're here to talk about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Glass Onion, as you can tell, is the sequel to the 2019 hit Knives Out. I first saw Knives Out in Oregon while my girlfriend was working, and that was a week after she and I saw Frozen 2. Knives Out was very entertaining. It was a modern-day murder mystery with an all-star cast, including Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, and Daniel Craig as Detective Benoit Blanc, in one of my favorite Daniel Craig roles next only to his portrayal of James Bond. That movie also stars Christopher Plummer, who is best known for playing Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music back in 1965. This is one of his last roles before his death on February 5th, 2021. Like Knives Out before it, Glass Onion was directed by Rian Johnson, who is best known for the most divisive movie to date, Star Wars The Last Jedi. I personally like Star Wars The Last Jedi, but we can all agree that the worst Star Wars movie ever is definitely The Rise of Skywalker. Glass Onion was released in theaters for 1 week only on the week of Thanksgiving, and I actually managed to sit down in a theater to watch it. 1 month later, on December 23rd, Glass Onion was released on Netflix, 1 week after we got Sonic Prime. I made a video review of Sonic Prime Season 1, an unscripted one at that, so please check that out if you haven't already. Glass Onion features the return of Daniel Craig as Detective Benoit Blanc, as he is invited to a Greek island for a murder mystery game. This movie acknowledges that COVID is a thing, and they take advantage of that very well, even going as far as having Daniel Craig play Among Us with Stephen Sondheim and Angela Lansbury in their final film roles. Stephen Sondheim was a famous lyricist for many beloved Broadway musicals, my personal favorite being West Side Story, which had two different film adaptations. One released in 1961 starring Richard Beymer as Tony and Natalie Wood as Maria, and another released 60 years later in 2021, starring Ansel Elgort as Tony and Rachel Zegler as Maria. The 1961 film is definitely one of my favorite movies of the 1960s. I may go back and review some classic 1950s and 1960s movies, so I can make my audience aware of these movies and to check them out when they have the time. Stephen Sondheim died on November 26, 2021 at age 91. Angela Lansbury has always been one of my favorite actresses growing up, starring as Jessica Fletcher in Murder, She Wrote, and as Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. Like many, her death on October 11, 2022 was devastating to me. Who knew her final film role would be her playing Among Us in a Zoom call with Stephen Sondheim and Daniel Craig? Aside from Daniel Craig, we have Edward Norton, Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Jessica Henwick, Kathryn Hahn, aka Agatha Harkness from WandaVision, Leslie Odom Jr., and more. Just like the first Knives Out, the writing and the dialogue were extremely clever. It was just a fun murder mystery film in the likes of 1985's Clue. I've not seen the 1985 Clue movie, but I need to. But I have played the game several times. And Knives Out definitely feels like a game of Clue brought to life, and so does Glass Onion. I'm not going to spoil what happens in this movie, so you're going to have to check it out whenever you get the chance so you can see for yourself. I'm giving Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery a 10 out of 10. This is by far my favorite Netflix movie, along with two Ryan Reynolds comedy movies, which are Red Notice and The Adam Project. There are several other Netflix movies that I need to check out, like The Gray Man, Extraction, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which I heard was miles better than the one that was released on Disney Plus that I reviewed a while back, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and several other Netflix movies that were nominated for Oscars. As I said, the writing was clever, the cast did a wonderful job, and this may yet be one of Rian Johnson's best films to date since Knives Out. However, I wouldn't really say the same about Star Wars The Last Jedi. I may revisit the Star Wars movies at some point, but I don't know when. Stay tuned in 2023 for my upcoming reviews of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies, as well as 2023's The Little Mermaid and the Mission Impossible movies. And stay tuned for many more exciting projects to come. Until then, I'll see you all next time.